What's up, guys? It's the Farooqi Bros back for another Built Different stream. We know it's a little different time, but hey, what can you do? So this week we got a bunch of topics across Marvel, DC, and also some stuff with some cinema conversations as well. As Umar's already begun the stream, already laughing it up. So that's how you know it's going to be one of those, right? So let's jump right into it and not even waste time. So the first topic that I wanted to talk about was a production note on Joker 2. So the basic thought here, and it's been rumored for a couple of years now, but now there's a bit more truth to those rumors as the latest production notes leaked, suggested that Joker 2 is now, as Umar and Samir already are having a tough time keeping it together. It's just like, that's how you know when you come back to the stream after a while that
it's just you kind of said yo, the first topic. It's like, all right,
the first but right now we're talking about Joker 2. So we're talking about how aside from the movies, there's no details. All we know is that Joaquin Phoenix is coming back. We know that Todd Phillips will not come back to direct this movie, but he is going to produce it and co-write it. So no director attached yet. We know Joaquin's coming back, so something is being done. But instead of talking about what we think is going to happen, instead, let's look at it in a more macro sense and talk about if this should even happen to begin with. So, Umar, I'll start with you on this one. Do you think Joker 2 should even be a movie?
Yeah, I do. And I think I'm going to agree with what you guys are going to say, but I have a slightly different take. And my take is that the Joker 2 is a really good idea on paper. I do think it's going to mess with the first Joker, and I don't think it's going to be as great, even though I think Joaquin Phoenix will put in a crazy performance. I think it depends on how they go about it, but it's definitely like any piece of art, like it's allowed to obviously operate. And ultimately, I'm very curious to see who the director is going to be, because Todd Phillips did such a great job. I think maybe in the larger sense, having a new director maybe take over might add a uniqueness to the second one, right? Because a lot of times these movies happen, you kind of have the same director, and so sometimes they can't outdo their own first performance. But for a new director to come on and try to take a crack at it, I do think that would help out the second one, still having that unique flavor or unique tone or unique whatever that director is going to go for. And so I do think that there's a chance the movie could be really good, but like most things, I doubt it's gonna top the first one, because the first one, when it came out and seeing Joaquin do his thing, I mean, now we know how he does his thing, right? Like we kind of have an idea of what he might go for, but who knows? Depending on what they do, if it's unique, it might be very good.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good point. Before I jump, is my internet kind of shaky right now, or are we still good?
Yeah, your voice audio is fine, but your videos are kind of laggy.
Yeah, because for me, Zion,
I have both of you as blurry. I have Samir as very like.
All right, yeah. So I think our internet is like just.
Yeah, it's been a bad internet day.
I guess Samir
one of those days,
next
but
if you want.
Yeah, I think am I a little clearer now? Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah. I'll actually let Zion go next and give your quick thoughts on it. What do you agree with Umar or not? Sorry, a little rusty with the streams. Do you agree with Umar or not that Joker is a good idea, Joker 2, if given to a new director?
I personally don't think it's a good idea. I think they should have kept it as a one-off movie that just like you make some noise, you set the bar at a different level, and then you move on to the next thing. But the only thing where I have like faith, I guess, going into it is that we know Joaquin Phoenix, we know what he does, we know how he is. He never does sequels to his films. He doesn't make those kinds of movies. So if he's signing on to come back for a sequel, you know that he's given it to his seal of approval, that he's read the script, he knows what it's going to be about. And if he thinks it's a story worth telling or something, they'll actually push it forward to a completely new place and make it that much more of an amazing like duology or whatever they plan to do, then he wouldn't do it unless it was the case. So I think that Joaquin coming back is really the most vital thing, even above if Todd Phillips comes back or not, or if there's somebody else. I think just Joaquin signing on for a sequel, he wouldn't do it unless it is something special. So that gives me a little hope that, okay, that if this is in development, if this is something that's going to be a possibility, then if that's the case, then really we don't have too much to worry about. But still I'm hesitant to say like what story can they tell, where are they going with the character, because it's not really like it wasn't really rooted in comic bookiness like compared to other films, so it was more like real in a sense. So it's like, all right, where are you gonna take this character? Are you gonna still keep it real, or are you gonna start meshing more into like the what Joker is and his more like crazy like comic booky antics of like the type of things he does or the type of craziness he is. So I'm interested to see where they take that. But again, it's all contingent on Joaquin Phoenix. If Joaquin signs on coming back, he is willing to come back for this second one, then you know it's something special, or at least might be something special.
Yeah, is Metro a little better now? I think it seems like it got a little better, right? Okay, cool. So I agree with both you guys, but also I disagree in the sense I'm the one who feels like maybe this movie is not really needed. And if I was the one who's kind of like controlling the future of how DC would do it, I would love to take other villains and then take those characters and give them this solo movie feel, like Clayface or Mr. Freeze, and then discover those characters in the same way you did Joker, and use maybe a high-profile actor who would never sign up for a cinematic universe, like Joaquin would never sign up for one, and then let them do it. In this case, I think that if, like Zion said, if Joaquin is interested in a story, then there's a good chance that it could be pretty good. And Todd Phillips, he is writing it again, so the first script was pretty good in my opinion. So I think let's see how this one goes and how it develops. So Samir, I don't know if your connection is good or not, but I'm gonna try nudging you on this one. Do you think Joker 2 is a good idea? I don't know if Samir is even unavailable, but
I'll make another point.
Yeah.
We could see if he's come back, but I think one of the reasons I slightly disagree with you, Shraz, is that if you're gonna have a multiverse model, right? Like if that's kind of like what they want to move towards, not that they're actually doing a good job of it, but like what we've heard from like Jim Lee and whatnot is like, oh, multiverse excitement, whatever, right? And the Flash is like an example of that actually kind of taking place. I think like I'm much more excited for Joker 2 than I am. Like what else is coming out? Like Matt Reeves' The Batman is probably the only thing. Not too excited for like Blue Beetle. Nope, not too excited for that. I'd rather see what? I'd rather see freaking
the comment is pointing out your YouTube sign in the back.
It won't fall off. Don't worry. Yeah, it's the angle I have it at. But thank you for that. I think that the multiverse model just makes it so that you're gonna allow different movies, and now it's just gonna be dependent on what you think is actually gonna be more successful or more entertaining. I know for us, I think a Joaquin Phoenix Joker 2, even if it's not as good as number 1, and it very well could be, but even if it's not, it would do well. Like we would still be a very good movie. It'd probably be better than most other films that are coming out. Shraza, you wanna let us in on the joke?
Actually, I was just smirking, but now I'm not smirking anymore. So I was just smirking at your point. Yeah, but yeah. So right, are we? Do we have a point to make, or should we give it? I think Samir is still out of commission for a minute, so we will.
Samir would have just said good or bad.
Good, yeah. You know what? Let me do another topic, and then we'll jump to the next thing. So, okay. So I want to talk about Andrew Garfield next, because this last like 2.5 weeks or so, it's been absolutely crazy. But like, is something real? Is it not? And I can't even show the video because Sony is copywriting people for using it. But there is a video floating around of Andrew Garfield in a Spider-Man costume, and he's surrounded by someone else also with a Spider-Man glove on. And a lot of people are suggesting this is from Spider-Man No Way Home because one, this is Andrew Garfield from the present. He's not as young as he looked in 2014. And two, it's just the way the suit was looked and the way the blue screen is, which is very much a Marvel thing. All those things put together, people suggested this new video leak was real. Now, then someone else came forward and said that, you know what, this video is fake and I made it up, and here's the video detailing it. So actually I put this on our Farooqi Bros chat, and I was like, oh, good thing we're not recording about this. And then Samir pointed out to me saying that someone else made a video saying that person faked this whole video. So I was researching this. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I was debating to put this topic in, but the reason I did was this: whoever's putting that video up, Sony is copywriting them. So I think there's no reason for Sony to copyright something that is obviously fake. So this gives me credence to say that this gives me I think to say that it's real. So Samir, I don't since you weren't there for the Joker one, I'll let you kind of give your thoughts on this one. Like, do you think that this is all kind of like part of a bigger marketing scheme that they want the leaks to come out, or do you think that it's just the Wild West, like anything goes right now?
I don't think they want the leaks to come out, but I definitely think that video of Andrew Garfield was real. The guy that made the fake video saying he made that video, that was obviously fake. He showed no proof of where he got the face overlay for Andrew Garfield, so it was clearly fake. So I think it just got leaked, and now Sony's trying to take it down. Maybe they paid him to make it fake, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And Zion, I don't know what you make of this. This is not like a too big of a topic, but just more like the craziness around this film, and it's like a bigger thing about the hype, and that's me I could focus on that point, because just a video of Andrew Garfield, who's trending worldwide, off that little clip, and it shows like the way this movie, like if this was a non-pandemic time, this would have been a $1 billion hit. This I would have said could have been a $2 billion hit, close to what Endgame did, just based on Toby, Andrew, and Tom in one movie. But this clip in particular, like, what do you make of like this whole saga of is it real, is it not?
So I 100% agree with Samir. When I saw that other video, the video of like the guy saying he made it and showing how to make it, it looks so fake. I'm like, this is like he used his VFX skills. I'm sure he has like his skills to make that video, to make it show that, well, here's how he made it, but it looked so fake and did not look genuine at all. It's like Smith said, there's no source, there's no place where he got the facial, he got the back, and got all these things from that he has in the video. No source, those kind of things. So it's like he made like a fake, quick video that claims that he made this thing. It's a farce. And Samir, right? Sony could have just told him, do this, and quell like the buzz. But if it's true that Sony is actually copywriting people who put this video up, then that, okay, there must be something serious. And I'm telling you, like, these people on Twitter, like, they're like forensically decoding this thing, and it's like all the points they make, all the stuff they're saying, even down to like the hairstyle, they matched it to the hair he has right now that he had for a 2021 movie that he's doing. So it's like he looks similar to what that is. So it's like, all right, it's not something from the past, not from back then. So it's like, okay, how much can you fake it? And they really do a really good job, like breaking down how it is and how it could be real. And it doesn't make sense. I think it's real personally. And I think the video of the guy showing how he made it looks pretty fake in my opinion. So I guess, like you said, the buzz around the movie, I mean, even with leaks like these, you see how crazy people are getting and how excited they're getting that, just this little sliver, this little thing that people, is it or is it not, is making people go crazy and create so much hype around the movie that, once they finally confirm it, and once like the next trailer comes out and they show them for like a second, internet's gonna go crazy, Twitter's gonna go crazy, and it's only good for Sony, only good for Marvel that even just this leak type stuff is creating this much buzz.
I don't know, more like just we're talking about the buzz and the hype for this movie. I mean, do you think that, like, if for 1% chance we are on both sides of it, if it's not real, and let's say this whole time the audience is the one that went crazy, and really there is no Tom or Toby, and really just a Doctor Strange Spider-Man team up with a couple of villains from the multiverse, do you think there'll be a heavy disappointment from the fans?
Yeah, I think definitely it would be a heavy disappointment, because for a year and a half, it seems like that's kind of the nuggets that were dropped, and now it seems like if it doesn't happen, right? If it doesn't happen, then it's gonna have a negative impact. I don't know if it'll destroy the movie. I just think it won't have the same impact as. Hi, Smear. You want to let us in on the joke? Was it the nuggets thing?
Yeah, it was the nuggets.
Okay, I'm just saying that throughout the span of a few years, we've had small things that were dropped, and a lot of them are Spider-Man. Like, that this Toby or one of the Spider-Men. So I'm just saying like that is a problem, and now you're all laughing. So I don't know why.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But yeah, I think overall it's interesting
What does
that
that do with laughing? God.
I said no. We were just smiling because like
Listen, the
it's
thing
not.
about the
It's
leaks,
nice.
the things
Go
about the
ahead.
leak is that this is like the clearest video I've ever seen in my life. Okay, it's like look how HD that is. That's zoomed in,
It's like 8K.
like perfect.
How did they catch him in 4K? This is most likely this is real, and the larger picture, which for some reason I don't have. There's another hand that when also like Zion said, when put through the forensic scanner, that somehow Twitter will put things through. It was Tobey Maguire's glove, his Spider-Man, and not Andrew's. So if there are two of them together, as now we lost Umar, then we're in for something. What's Umar doing? All right, so. Yeah, we get it together. I think it's because we're just so excited to see each other after so long since the Florida vlog. It seems. All right, we got a few more topics ahead of us, and we're gonna.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
What?
Just continue.
I said we have a few more. We have a few more topics. I can transition to the sponsorship if we were laughing. Now Zion's taking a picture that everyone can see. Everyone. And now we do it till everyone comes back. You're good?
Sure.
Let's just move on to the next topic, I guess.
Yeah, I will. 1 second. So all right, we're good? Everyone's good. Don't make me put on a comment from the chat. And make
It's because there's something funny like a message in the messages. Right. Yeah, it's nothing else.
All right. Okay, everyone, chill out. We're gonna. We're still rusty, bro. At the streams, that's a problem. All right, Zion, you can mute yourself. Wow, this is just come on. All right, let's keep it together. Keep it together. Calm. What's going on? We're like completely off our like game.
All right, I'll talk to you more. Shraz, do you see that picture of Tom Hardy with the Far From Home hat? I couldn't tell if it was fake or not.
Right. So I did see. I did see that picture. I did see that picture. Okay. And the main thing that I want to get out of it, first, down, relax. Okay. So I did see the picture, and I think that one, it's like more confusing on what it means because I don't want to give too much spoilers. So, and I'm going to talk about Venom in a second because there are some things I want to talk about. But I think that rumor is probably a little like iffy if Venom's going to show up in No Way Home. But hey, you never know, especially with the scenario that's going on. All right, Umar, you good? You good? I'm going to make you talk about something.
Yeah. Give me a topic.
All right. We gotta do something. I'm gonna ask you something really quick, and then we're gonna jump into the other thing. All right, who is better, the movie Flash or CW Flash? Or what do you think?
Kind of dumb questions that Shraz. I mean, not well. Yeah, it's obviously Ezra. Let's not play around.
All right, Zion, what about you?
Yeah, Ezra.
All right, Samir.
Yeah, Ezra.
All right, unfortunately, like. Yeah, they're both pretty bad. Yeah, so I mean that's just being brutal honest, but okay. But speaking of the Flash, we're gonna get into the Flash in a second. But first, I wanted to share a quick word from today's sponsor. So just see you in about a minute. This video is brought to you by Western Rise. Their pants are versatile, comfortable, and high performance. They don't wrinkle, smell, or stain, and they stretch in every direction. That have seriously changed how I dress. Let me tell you some details about these Evolution pants. They're water and stain resistant. There's a pocket in the front for your phone and a hidden zip pocket in the back for your wallet. And the durable material means each pair of pants comes with a lifetime warranty. These are literally the last pants you will ever need. And the Western Rise team is so confident that you'll like it that they'll let you test drive it for free for 7 days. You can even test multiple sizes and colors, and they won't charge you unless you keep them. Get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to westernrise.com/discount and use the code Farooqi to get that 10%. Now, let's get back to the stream. All right, so we're back to the stream, and we got a new topic. You got to mute yourself there. Okay, so the next thing I'll talk about was Andy Muschietti sharing a new image. This was just a couple of hours ago from The Flash, and I'll just put the image on screen. Give me a second. Okay, so wrong image. Here you go. So he shared this image of Michael Keaton's Batman costume from Batman Returns with the Flash insignia kind of sprayed on. There's been a lot of talk throughout the day about what that means, what kind of marketing this movie's going through, and all that fun stuff. But some of the rumors about it is that this is actually a character from the Flash comics, and other people are saying that it's just some kind of marketing scheme for Michael Keaton's Batman in particular, and it's not anything too crazy. But if this is indeed the character Red Death from the Flash comics, who does, and I can actually put his picture up when the next person talks, so give me a second to pull it up, but who does have a Batman-like costume with the Flash symbol in it, or not, other way around, it's a Flash costume with the Batman symbol in it. This could be an interpretation of that. Remember, this whole time, the movie's in production, we have not gotten any word about who the villain of this movie is. A lot of people are saying it's Reverse Flash, but there's been no casting. There's been no idea of who's what. Some are saying Ezra Miller himself is playing Reverse Flash also. So there's a lot of things up in the air. But this image that Andy Muschietti shared, people are just, of course, the fans are going to start talking about what does this mean, if this is a different character, if this is just another just generic tease for the movie itself. So that's what I wanted to kind of ask you guys and get into it. So, Samir, I remember when I showed this to you in the chat, you mentioned that you hope that it's not Red Death because it would be a shame to waste a character like this on this kind of crossover movie. So is that still kind of the position you hold?
Yeah, it is. I think even if it is Red Death, I don't think this would be the suit, of course, because if they put him in this suit with the spray paint, I think that would be the most garbage thing ever. It's gonna be childish, but I do think it would be a waste, especially since Red Death is one of the evil versions of Batman, right? From the Dark Knights, and the Dark Knights is much darker than they were already doing. And if they're trying not to be dark, then it'd be a complete waste of the character altogether. So I hope it's not. I hope he's not in the movie. It'd be cool to see him live action, I guess, if he is, but hopefully not.
Sian, as a resident Batman fan, I don't know what you make of this image. And the thing I want to talk to you about, I made this joke to you privately before, that it seems like every single promotion material with this movie is really a Batman promotion with very little Flash. So even here, really, you're looking at a Batman suit with a little symbol of the Flash. But really, once again, Batman is front and center. This is really Batman featuring the Flash, with cameo by the Flash. So is that a good thing, you think, or I think that's actually doing Flash a disservice with how much they're putting Batman? And you as a Batman fan, what do you make of that?
I completely agree that it's a gigantic disservice to the Flash, because really we know the Flash from the comics to the animated movie to the shows. He's such a great character. It's he's finally getting his feature film, his first time in the spotlight solo, and you're just hammering so many other things into it. And then now with the marketing, all they're doing is Batman, Batman, Batman. Now maybe that's just for marketing, to build hype, that they're underconfident in trying to market Flash alone. So they're using Batman's hype to get people excited for the film. And then in the film itself, it's actually mostly Flash-centric. But these marketing pictures paint a very different picture. And it does get you, even as a Batman fan, it makes me less excited for the movie, because I want to see a good Flash story. I want him to be the forefront now. You have Michael Keaton's Batman. You have all these Batman pictures. Then you have Supergirl set leaks and things like that, and Supergirl official. And it's where is the Flash? We've barely seen anything of the Flash official. So it's is the Flash even part of the movie anymore? It's what movie is this? What are you watching? It clearly doesn't seem like a Flash movie. It seems like a Batman movie with Supergirl. And then Flash is the third character. And it really is sad, because, as a Flash fan, you want to see him really be able to shine the light and get his time. But these pictures make me only less excited for the movie. It's the opposite effect of, they're trying to do what Spider-Man has. They're desperately seeking that, because that's you bring the nostalgia, you talk about the old ones, and it's only bringing more hype that, oh yeah, even right now, personally, the hype after Spider-Man is on another stratosphere compared to what it is to the Flash, which is very, very low. So it's like they want that so badly, and maybe that's why they're just harkening on Batman, when we'll see if it even has a lot to do with him or what the balance is in the movie with that. But honestly, as set leaks or whatever, or marketing comes out that's less of the Flash, is making me less excited for the movie.
It's funny because Dan mentioned compared to Spider-Man, because there are comparisons to that. Spider-Man's going to feature 3 different Spider-Man, and then this Flash movie is going to feature 3 different Batman with Keaton. It's 2 Batman. Oh, 3, yeah. Oh, it's 2 Batman plus the one of Pattinson. But so there's 2 Batman in this movie. There's 3 Spider-Man in another movie. But it seems like, and again, we haven't seen a full trailer yet, so you can't like completely shove the Flash away. But just Spider-Man just feels like it's cleaner, even with all the leaks on there. And Umar, where do you stand on this? Like, just number one, on a marketing sense, because you are the marketing expert here, of just keep marketing Batman. We know Batman is the moneymaker. We know he's the most popular hero that DC has. But do you think they're kind of overdoing it now, like with the Flash?
I mean, you could have overdone it, but you could have went about it in a more smarter way. Like, I don't understand what these this type of promotional material is supposed to, like, what's the intention behind putting something like this out? Like, I totally got for Supergirl and for the other characters, but this type of material, especially when we've already seen the Batman's kind of crest or whatever, like, what does this accomplish anyways? I just don't understand what they're trying to do. And I think a trailer will shed a lot of light on like whether we should shelve this thing or whether it's going to go on. You'll be told a lot by the trailer. Ultimately, I'm with Jan. The more stuff that these guys release, the less excited I am. And honestly, I don't think they're going to do well anyways. Like, I just think the idea behind making this movie and the way they're making it, I just think there's so many changes that this movie has already gone through. You can tell that it's like they're working on the fly almost. And so I think that we're going to see that. And I think that's going to make this movie, this movie's going to struggle because of that. I just think that's why this movie's going to take a hit. We don't even know, even after they've done shooting and everything, we don't even know which version of the movie might come out. So like, they might test screen it, and then people react really badly to the test screening, so they change it again. And so I'm not even sure. Even if they put out a trailer, we don't even know what movie we'll actually get. So it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
on the news of trailers, we'll get a teaser apparently for The Flash during DC Fandom, and which is just in 2 weeks. So we'll be covering that in detail when the teaser does drop, and we'll be getting a full trailer of the Batman on DC Fandom as well. We have a question about the movie that in The Flash, do you think we'll get a third Batman? We have Keaton and Affleck, but why not Christian Bale? Right. So on Bale, I can actually answer that. There was actually some credible rumor that there was a time when Keaton's contract with DC for this new movie and a couple of others was falling short because we heard Keaton was like, hey, because of the pandemic, I'm not sure I want to be Batman again because of how the constraints are for scheduling. Apparently, some people inside WB, some executives were thinking, and this never actually became like a phone call, but there were some thoughts in the rooms reportedly that if Keaton was not going to do it, they were going to call Bale and let Bale take the role that Keaton was going to take of like an older Batman, but just Bale was going to play it. Now, would he have accepted that role? Personally, I think no. I think Christian Bale said this before that he would only ever be Batman again if Christopher Nolan was the one directing him. So I think even if they called him for this movie, he would say no. But then you never know how big a check can get. We know he's going to play a villain, and if not the main villain, for the 4th Thor movie. So it's not like he's done with superhero films. I think he is done with Batman. So I wouldn't really think that he's going to show up in this one. But you don't know. We heard that relying on nostalgia again. So yeah, I mean, I think Umar might have mentioned this a few weeks ago, actually, when we were talking about it, that they have been, focusing on Keaton a lot, in particular for this marketing. So this is the second time that we've seen a Keaton suit. The first one, obviously, from the first movie, is actually 2 different suits. If you for those who pay attention, the bat symbol is different on both. So there's some credibility to the idea that this is a different character. That this is not specifically Michael Keaton. Go ahead.
I mean, the problem comes also is like when Zion was talking about Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire and whatnot. Like Tobey Maguire had a different impact on. Like he had a different impact. Like people go
on the generation, it was different.
Those movies, yeah. No offense, but people don't do that with Michael Keaton, as far as I know. Like people don't, and we've already got Christian Bale We got Ben Affleck. We got a trailer for Robert Pattinson. Like that's old news. So like in all honesty, like it could have made more sense to actually do something with just the Affleck. Like it would have just made more sense, and you could have reached out to. I think if you reached out to Bale like reaching out to him now would be idiocy, because he'd look at that and be like, why would I do something for this whole mess, right? Maybe if you reached out to him early on and even tried to get Christopher Nolan, who took a hike, but anyways, it's a different story. But like you could have tried to get some of the heavy hitters. I don't understand what the reasoning behind a lot of the decisions are, like behind making this one. And then not to mention Cyborg's not in it, and that has its own. See, it's just like too many things. There's like too many things happening, and so I feel like that just diminishes the whole like vibe. But who knows? Yeah. Maybe the trailer comes out. And
the funniest thing is that we can go back 2 years even to when this movie was announced, and we were sitting in the same kind of setup, and we are talking about how DC has a leg up on the multiverse like thing. Like, oh, DC's gonna do the multiverse, and Marvel Phase 4, they won't be able to figure it out. And now we're sitting here like a year and a half later from that conversation, and Marvel set up the multiverse with Loki. They're about to go all out with Spider-Man. Doctor Strange is gonna bring the X-Men characters in. Like, they did it, and they're doing it like again better than DC. And DC's here; they are struggling to get to the Flash movie. It's a shame, as someone personally who prefers DC to Marvel as characters. It's a shame that like how good they're doing it over there. Yeah,
it's simple. It's the suits. It's a different environment. Different. You have different, like the structure of the organization behind the film is different. The studio is different.
Yeah, I mean, like if you have a guy like Feige who knows the material, he loves the characters, he knows what it's about at the helm, compared to just the suits they have at Warner Bros. Who don't know the characters, don't know anything. We know that from Goyer's comments about, was it Goyer, right? About Krypton being destroyed. And they're like, oh yeah, what if you have to go back? Even though they just saw it get destroyed. And that's the most, that's like a big part of, this is a character of Superman's origin. Even a kid knows the origin of Superman and what happened to his planet. And these people who are in charge of these movies, they don't even know the characters they're trying to sell. So that is literally, like Umar said, it's the people on top. That's the biggest difference between Marvel, how they're running things, and how DC's running things. Because you have somebody who knows the characters, they'll know what the fans want. You have somebody who just doesn't know anything, only knows the numbers, then you get a bad product, like DC's been churning out recently.
Is that shout the Suicide Squad? All right, so let's jump from that, because we did talk about Warner Brothers and executives, because this next story is very much rooted in that. So Christopher Nolan's new film, he's decided to sign a new deal with Universal Pictures, rather, exiting Warner Brothers after 2 decades. So for 20 years, he's been working with Warner Brothers exclusively. Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Interstellar, and Dunkirk, Tenet, right? So he's been making exclusively movies for Warner Brothers for 20 years, and now he's going to Universal Studios for what could be the next phase, if not even the final stage of his career, the next chapter of his career. And he's making a movie. The movie itself is in early stages. It's about another World War II movie, so something similar to what he did with Dunkirk. But I think in this case, the story is not really what he's working on, but who he's working with. And that's what I wanted to focus in on, because we know that he was absolutely furious about how the HBO Max decision was of making every movie a theatrical dual release with HBO, and he called HBO Max the worst streaming service. so he's every streaming service better than HBO Max. He's multiple times been critical about how they handled Tenet's release. Again, it is worth saying it has been a full pandemic, so some things are out of even Warner Brothers' control, like theaters opening and whatnot. But Nolan was very much adamant that the next place he goes to, he wants to go to someone who fosters like the cinematic integrity of movie theaters. So what his demands were, and there's a couple of people who are in this. Some of his demands included he wants 100 days of exclusive theatrical release without going to any streaming service. Universal said okay. He wanted $100 million budget. Universal said okay. He wanted like 20% of every single first dollar gross. So he's gonna be taking a lot of money. Like, he's making bank. Apparently, other people in the conversation was Apple was interested in making this deal with him, but Apple's still very new to the movie genre, so them making that deal was not there. Everyone tried, of course, including Warner Brothers. They did try. Unfortunately, Christopher Nolan closed the door on them and said, "I'm not working with you." So that kind of out there, Zion, like, what do you think of? What is the impact for Warner Brothers to lose a director like Nolan from their like roster?
It's honestly a huge impact because he was like, if you think of Warner Brothers in recent memory in like modern film, he was their hallmark director. He's the one who released like the biggest juggernaut movies that are like, you have Oscar contention, you have box office, you have everything. Like, this is what this guy brought you. And it's like, was he solely the one to close the door on them, or did Warner Brothers not match what Universal accepted? Because if it was on them and they chose still not to accept it, they're like, you don't know what they're thinking now. They're like, they want to go down the drain, because it's like, if you have the opportunity.
The report was that it was Nolan who closed the door on Warner Brothers after like this relationship was so strained.
Then that is honestly sad on Warner Brothers, because they lost somebody big, and maybe if they handled the earlier situation a little better, or at least gave him some kind of assurance on Tenet in some way. I know, like I said, it was a pandemic, so it's like, it's hard to get for everybody to handle that situation, especially with all the different theater chains and what they were doing. But it was a bad situation for all. So if they early on gave the assurance that, oh yeah, don't worry, if streaming is not your thing, for you, we'll give you an exclusive deal where, just like he asked for 100 days, like if they gave him some kind of like inkling early on that, okay, if you were wanting to pursue something like this, we would be interested in giving you that, maybe that would have softened the blow towards him. And maybe now he would have been like, okay, maybe they're willing to give and take a little bit. But because the controversy back then, they did not stand by him at all, really. I don't blame him for leaving, going Universal, who clearly welcomed him with open arms and are giving him what he wants. And as a filmmaker, you can't blame him. You got to go where you will be accepted, and they will allow you to make your movies. Like we're seeing with Zach with Netflix right now, they're allowing you to build these entire universes and different things, and it's the best thing for him. So same with Nolan, that now it's Universal. It's great for him that he can unhindered, unfiltered, give his vision, and then have the things he wants. Because at this point, he deserves it. He's that kind of director.
Or what do you think about it? Like the same question, like just them losing Nolan, or do you think it's kind of this was coming? You know, like this was going to happen regardless, sooner or later.
Yeah, I think that it was more so to do with like just the way they handled Tenet rather than the way he makes his films. Because I think he's so big at this point now that even the films he's made with Warner Brothers, I don't think they could really tell him kind of what to do. And so I don't think that is a reason. But I do think that I guess he has certain things he wants, and it just became a thing of like the relationship got strained over Tenet, and now he wants to walk somewhere where they're gonna meet the specific demands that he has, and that Warner Brothers just can't meet. And I do think that at some point we do have to be kind of fair. The pandemic kind of did, like when Tenet was coming out, it was very hard at that point to actually like just put it out there. Now I don't know what the conversations were in the room. Like Christopher Nolan could have said that, hey, we're not, just wait on it. Just wait. Just keep waiting. And I think if they pulled the trigger at that point, I think that's where I would say like, okay, he's just in like being like, yo, like you could have waited, right? But at the same time, the pandemic brought like certain circumstances that were out of the studio's control. And so at some point you do have to realize that, well, the studio also has its own interest as well, and they have different metrics that they look at as well. So it's like it's a tough situation on both ends. At the same time, the fact that Universal has been able to meet his demands means that his demands potentially and can be met. And so I think that point is a big one. And so I do think that Warner Brothers took an L in the grand scheme of things, because if the demands can be met, then you should have met them, because it's Christopher freaking Nolan. Like, you're not talking about like someone. You're talking about the best of the best. You're talking about LeBron James. Like LeBron James walking away. You're talking about the best.
Samir, do you agree that Nolan is the LeBron James of
Giannis is
movies?
I was gonna say Warner Brothers pulled the big Jerry Krause moment with that.
It's literally like The Last Dance.
Michael Jordan.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good example of like just dropping the ball. I mean, there was an article actually 3 years ago where Toby Emmerich said that actually we as a studio do not want to work with like auteur directors anymore, and we don't want directors who care about their final cut that much. And you have people who like work within the system. So hey, maybe that's the culture they want. Like they don't want guys like Nolan anymore. And then this next guy who we're about to talk about, they don't want him either. I don't know, but we'll see.
Well,
so the next, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, you never know. Discovery's about to take over and fire everybody anyways. So
that's true. Let's see how that happens. So then the next topic, a quick one. Denis Villeneuve. So he's doing Dune, obviously a very, very much a hyped film. Everyone's excited about it. A lot of people think it's going to be the best movie of the year. It's due to come out in a couple of years. I know it was one of Samir's most anticipated personally. So he made a comment just a couple of days ago saying that too many Marvel movies are nothing more than cut and paste of each other. This is very similar to what Scorsese said a few years ago. We actually did a pretty interesting podcast about it, which we'll probably cover just very lightly quickly because we don't have too much time. But about our superhero movie cinema, which is a whole different conversation. But this goes into these high level directors. They don't really respect the superhero genre that much, and especially Marvel. So they're gonna take their dunks on them when they need to. But in this case, the question is, Samir, I'll ask you this one: do you think that Villeneuve is just saying these comments to get attention for Dune, like press attention, or does he actually mean that hey, these Marvel movies, man, they're ruining cinema basically? So where do you think that his intention was on this?
Well, he's not wrong. I mean, too many of them are just cut and paste of each other. A lot of them are just mid to bad. So, they still did a good job of moving the full universe forward as a comic book universe. I don't think there's cinema movies, of course. So he's not wrong. It's kind of out of the blue, I guess.
He's knowing the movie's coming out in just a couple of weeks, his movie. So now you can make it, as you already know, now every single interview he's going to get from now to the end of the movie's cycle, they're going to ask him this question. Like, oh, what do you think about Marvel? And he's going to keep saying the same thing. And then we're going to keep talking about it. So, Umar, what about you? Like, number one, do you think he's right that, these movies aren't really cinema, or do you think that maybe they are, but it's up to the eye of the person watching to make sense of it?
Well, I mean, he's saying here that they're nothing more than a cut and paste of others. I think that again, like the Marvel films, and we've been critical of them more than a lot of other people. It just seems that, like it's the tone aspect of it that I think is a problem. And then a lot of them happen to be very similar to each other in terms of like how they shoot, and so I guess that stuff put together makes him feel that way. Obviously, Avengers Endgame is not the same as, I don't know, Loki, WandaVision. I mean, those are shows, but even they're not it's not the same as Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like, it's not the same level of like what's that level of thought is being put behind it and how many stories you're weaving together. I just think that the fact that these movies come out every year and they're pumping out $1 billion every year almost. I think that it rubs them the wrong way. I think some filmmakers, these guys work very, very hard on their coming up with their structure, and in some ways it's a bit harder of a job because you're kind of working from scratch, and I think that rubs them the wrong way. But I don't think it takes away from the success that Marvel's had with what they've done. I just think it's two different waves. I'm with Samir. I do think that comes to cinema and what films are as opposed to movies and all that stuff. I'm with Samir on that. I think that of course you're not going to compare Marvel to what some of these guys are putting out, but at the same time it's you got to give them their props as well, because they're still playing on the same field. Same field. That's the point I was going to make next. She made my point perfectly. It's still the same field. It's still the filmmaking genre, and all films are in it. Now it's just about what's going to be interesting, and it doesn't nothing we can change about it. The fact that superhero movies just happen to be the most popular movie of today's era, or even the last maybe 50 years or so. Like, if someone makes a superhero movie, there's an immediate interest. There's a reason why we've made a video about Shang-Chi, or we made a video about Black Widow, but we didn't make a video about Green Knight. When Green Knight was arguably, at least for a few of us here, the best movie of the year so far. So if you're, there's a reason we don't cover that, right? Because when you make a movie about that, no one's going to be paying attention, because even though it's cinema, the audience retention, the way people are engaging with it is not the same. And that's why we'll cover every Marvel movie as if it's a much bigger deal. And that because of that is why I think, like Umar said, people like these directors will be like, hey, we're putting in years and years of craft and thought into this, but you're going with the fast food
restaurant, like the McDonald's sandwich, right? So, and that's what MCU movies are. Like, you're going for fast food, you're gonna watch it one week, you're gonna forget the next week, and that's it. And you wait for the next one, right? So, there is that. And yeah, for the copy and pasting, look, a lot of these Marvel movies are cocky main character, villain who has a very similar power set as the main character, so they can fight like equally, and then one big CGI battle in the end. That's every single Marvel movie. Almost every single Marvel movie. So when you get that down, of course he's right. But Zion, do you have any like final thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I think like Umar said, like I said, that nothing he said is incorrect. This is whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's a different story. But factually, he's right. They are all cut from the same cloth. They're structurally almost identical. And that's why there's certain highlight Marvel movies like Endgame, like the first Iron Man, like Infinity War, like Winter Soldier, they felt different. So they stand out as something, okay, this is something special from the pack. Black Panther, for example. But then you have your run-of-the-mill movies like the Ant-Mans, like Captain Marvel, like the other two Iron Man movies, the Thor movies, aside from Ragnarok. It's like, all right, it's like you're the same cookie-cutter thing. It's just certain pieces are different. That's it. So it's like they're all forgettable, and some of the formula works for them, obviously, so it's not a bad thing, but like you know what you're getting every single time. And so nothing he said was incorrect. It was completely factual, it's completely true. And that's why everybody knows that the best ones are the ones that actually stray a little bit from that formula and do something different, do something new. And that's why those are the ones people enjoy the most, those ones that make most money, like the latter two Avengers movies. You see it there. So it's like, it's just about, is that a bad thing or is it a good thing? I don't know why people are knocking him so much, because factually he's right. That's not necessarily a bad thing that they're copy paste or cut of each other. It's just what it is, you know?
I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of DCEU fans still prefer DC over MCU, despite the dysfunction over on the DC side, is because you can either get given brilliance or be given shit on a stick, but you're going to be given a wide range of things. Whereas for Marvel, you're going to get the same thing every time, right? So, like, there is a high, like we just talked about Joker, there's a high that DC can reach, but because of their structure, because it's not copy and paste, you can also get very lows. For Marvel, you're always going to get something mid to good. Some might be not as good, but it's always in that mid-range, right? So it's just consistency, and consistency works. Even if you're consistently average, it still works. So that's like the more formula work for them, and that's why these movies are making, even in a pandemic, Shang-Chi made $300 million, which is pretty good. So
it does pad up. I mean, like when they do make Avengers Endgame or Avengers Infinity War, like even the mid characters, they look great because
the setup is done,
kind of coming together, and like so, it's just like a thing of like, I guess that organization, that structure, that team style of thing, like it's just better. You know what I mean? It's just better in terms of money and finances. Obviously, I would never compare Avengers Endgame or Avengers Infinity War to the Joker. I just wouldn't. Like if you're talking just the way the film's made and all that, but you can't take away from what they've also done. Just 10 years of work. Like that movie, to make that movie is 10 years of setup.
Yeah. So yeah, on this next 10 minutes left. So let's just, I'm going to rapid fire these next few topics and give quick thoughts on it. And this next part, so I'm going to try not to do it with too many spoilers. Hopefully the chat understands that as well. So Andy Serkis was asked recently if Venom is going to meet Spider-Man. And Venom 2 is on the way, just in a week, not a week, 2 weeks, right? So in 2 weeks, we're getting Venom 2, and Carnage is a big part of it. And they asked, when is Spider-Man going to be part of this movie? And he said, it's going to happen. The question is just when, and we don't want to rush it, right? So we know the multiverse is also being set up on Spider-Man's side, and we know things are definitely on the way on like combining the Sony universe with the MCU. But Samir, let's take this one solo, basically. Do you want Venom meeting Spider-Man, and which specific Spider-Man do you think should be his Spider-Man?
I think the best option would be Andrew Garfield if they're bringing him back. I'm pretty sure Venom was played for an audience, and they said the end credit scene is pretty crazy. Maybe it's related to this. I'm not sure, but it could happen sooner than they're saying.
Yeah, I think within 2 weeks, I think we'll get an answer. I will say this: there are obviously a lot of leaks and the audience did get test screen the movie, and it seems like Sony's marketing team is playing up to it now, and they are pushing Venom 2 #no spoilers. So they're pushing this to make people come see Venom 2 for the potential prospect of something happening. So we'll get there, and if something happens, we'll cover it for sure. All right. Next one. I don't have it as a topic, so instead I'll just close and show the picture. And I can't show the sound, unfortunately, we're gonna get copyrighted. But we got a little snippet. Yesterday was Batman Day. We got a snippet of the Batman score, like a little piece of it from Matt Reeves' Twitter and the composer's Twitter accounts. So I can't play it, but Zion, like after seeing that, and there was like a quick picture of the editing room. They're editing the Batman's trailer right now. The trailer is coming at DC Fandom, like I said. So here's the photo of Robert Pattinson using the grapple gun. The shot will be in the trailer. So Zion, like
the shot was in the last trailer.
It was, but it's been color graded a little differently now, I think, or cleaned up. I don't know. It looks a little different, like the ears. Maybe it's something like the face looks a little different, but I don't know. They're showing they're working on it. So quick ones, and you can take it yourself. Do you think the score, if you got a chance to hear that little clip, like what does it remind you of? Because for me, it screamed like Batman the Animated Series vibes, personally.
It honestly did. This the operatic nature of it. It's just so perfect for Batman. It's like you got some of that with Hans Zimmer's Batman, but like then you had Nolan's Hans Zimmer Batman, which is different, and that was like not as good. It's actually one of the lesser scores in my opinion, like compared to even Keaton's Batman. I love his score; it's very iconic. And then you have the BVS Batman score, Beautiful Fly, whatever that counts as score. That's also very like it fits the mood of the character so well. And then this is very powerful, but also very like somber at some points. Like if you watch the video, it's online everywhere. It's like you hear that the operatic nature. It's almost like even a horror element to it. You can say almost to the music itself, just because how forceful it is, and then like the drop into like the silence of it. I think it fits what the type of Batman they're using in this film and just the way they're going for it. So I think if it's perfect, I think it sounded amazing in the trailer. It sounds just as great here. So it's like I can't wait to hear the full thing and see it actually in the film and how it peppers like waves throughout behind the background. But I think just hearing from the background, just hearing it right now outside of the film, it sounds great and it's fitting this Batman just perfectly.
Homer, do you have any thoughts on this score yourself? Man, I know you're always been interested in this movie, like
horror,
scores in particular.
I think the horror element to it is what I heard more. Like from what I was hearing, I just thought like it's just gonna be a thriller. Like it's gonna be something that's different. So I'm excited for it.
Cool. All right, so 2 more topics. We're gonna go really quick through them because we didn't stream last week, so I want to touch on them quickly. So Insomniac is making a. Am I muted or something? Go ahead. Insomniac is making a Wolverine game, and Spider-Man 2 officially got announced at whatever the event was. I don't remember. Oh, it was PlayStation Showcase. So they announced both. So not only is this studio making Spider-Man 2, which we all know both Spider-Man and the Miles Morales game are absolutely fantastic. They're also making a Wolverine game. So
where's that Superman game at?
That I'm telling you, I don't know. It's gone forever because I thought Rocksteady would make it after making a really good Batman trilogy, but they decided, you know what, the people want a Suicide Squad game, and that's what we're getting. So, so that's what we're going with. But good thing is, if DC ain't got me, I know Marvel got me. So, a Wolverine game and Spider-Man 2 from a studio that has proven itself sounds great to me. So, in my opinion, this is great. I think the Wolverine news is actually more exciting than Spider-Man, only because Wolverine is like a character that is really fun to use in theory. But that Spider-Man 2 will have Venom in it. And from what we could tell, you can use both Peter Parker and Miles Morales almost equally. So a lot of interesting things going on over there. Next one, Samir, I don't know if you've seen this, but I'm going to ask you anyways. Did you see the Hawkeye trailer? And do you have any thoughts on that? Like, how did that specific trailer go?
I think I did see it.
And that's it.
It's pretty forgettable. I'll be honest.
Yeah, personally,
that he already forgot.
Oh, I like the vibes. It's holiday.
So
vibes. That was nice.
Yeah, so
I think it's gonna be.
It was like Home Alone meets Marvel,
Yeah,
it's very Home Alone. Yeah,
but Home Alone is good. So
Home Alone was good, and Home Alone 2 was even better. Really, this is Home Alone 2 vibes. That's the
it's Home Alone 2. It's Home Alone 2.
Yeah, because this Hawkeye takes place completely in New York City, very much like this Christmas kind of setting. It's probably gonna be like a way to segue Jeremy Renner out of the Hawkeye role and to give it to Kate Bishop's character. So yeah, the only reason I put this as a topic because it is as overall is kind of forgettable. But so were I think some of the trailers for even Falcon Winter Soldier and even Loki, I thought weren't that great. And when the show came out, I was like, that's pretty good, surprisingly. So this could be surprising. The only reason I think it'd be really surprising is because there's been heavy rumors, and the actor has been liking a lot of tweets that not only is Daredevil going to be in this movie in the series, but so is the Kingpin. So if they're hiding that because they weren't in the trailer, they weren't hinted at. But if Kingpin and Daredevil are both in this series, that would be pretty good. But let's see how that goes. And then final topic, as we are in the last 2 minutes now, and I'll give it to Zion, maybe Smear too, but I'll make it more to Zion. Is Matrix 4 the dark horse for best movie of the year? Because I was thinking this after watching the trailer a couple of times, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, right now for me, like, it's Green Knight, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Dune possibly, and now Matrix 4 is in the conversation as well. So, Zion, do you think Matrix 4 can actually be the best movie of the year?
And I don't think it's going to be the best movie of the year, but like just in comparison, like now it's fighting Dune in that end of the year spot. And for me, Dune's like, I forgot Dune now. Like, I don't care about Dune. I'm looking forward to Matrix. Like, Matrix just pushed Dune away from me. Like if I have a choice, which I'm going to watch first, because they both come out around the same time, I'm going to Matrix first. Like, Dune's put on the back burner, and now they're fighting each other. And honestly, Matrix will make more money just because of the nostalgia factor. You're getting everybody back. Well, except Morpheus, unless he does come back. I think the trailer itself, it was fine. It was fun to see them back, obviously. And Matrix has always been such a great franchise. It's like one of the coolest films. Like, if you think cool films, you think Matrix, like just how they are, the designs, everything about it, it's just a cool film. So it's like, I'm very excited for it. I don't think, like, critically it's going to be the best movie, but it's definitely going to be one of the best. It's definitely one of the ones I'm most excited for. I think this year's Spider-Man #1, and then it'll be Matrix second of the top 2 films I'm most excited for the rest of the year.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for Spider-Man, but I just think Spider-Man will be good. I just think that it'll have good moments, even with Toby and Andrew if they're in it. But I don't think it's going to be like, a top 5 movie of the year. It's just going to be a very hype movie. But I do personally think Matrix will be also, I think, pretty good. Like, I think they'll pull something off with this one. I don't think it's going to be better than Dune. I think they're going to actually mess up at some points. I think some longtime fans might not be happy with. Or if you're fighting nostalgia, which is actually not easy, as we know for the top 2 covered before, and people are always going to say, oh, this wasn't like Matrix 1. This wasn't like what Matrix 1 was. So Matrix 4, I don't know if it can live up to that hype. But yeah, I don't think Umar and Smith even have any thoughts on this, so I'm not even going to ask.
I mean,
unless I've never been touch the Snyder Cut. So
I've never been big on the Matrix as a whole, but I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, it's John Wick Matrix Edition. I was like, okay, that looks fine. I guess I'll watch it. But
it is all John Wick. Yeah,
I think Dune will be better. I think Spider-Man will probably be better. I don't know if the Eternals is coming out this year.
This year.
Eternals Dark Horse movie
of the whole year. I'm not talking about just superhero movies. You're saying Dark Horse. You're saying Eternals is a Dark Horse for all movies this year.
Yes, that's right. Quote me on
that. That's a very high quote, and I will quote you on it soon. Trust me. I think personally, Dune might be the best this year. I still think Dune will be best because just cinematically that looks a little different. But I think Green Knight still has a shot. You know, it's up there. I know Umar doesn't like it, but the rest of us did.
We'll have to
or see. for Umar's his most anticipated movie is Lamb, but you know, I don't know. Like Umar, well, you're excited for Lamb, right? You know, like the Lamb with the boy's body.
Yeah, he's wearing like a vest, you know.
Yeah, he's wearing like a jacket. He has human hands, you know. There's a weird thing going on.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Umar, is that your favorite movie?
Nah. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. I doubt anything's gonna touch the Snyder Cut for me. So let's see what happens.
What?
He said it's not a cut. I don't have any funny pictures for you guys, so we will not have any. We will not have any funny way to end the stream unless you have a joke to give. Otherwise, we're gonna just sign off quickly. Cool. I'm seeing. Do I have any kind of funny video? Something that I haven't played in a long time, but I don't. All right. So, all right. We'll see you then. I guess we'll see you next week. So, from myself, from Zion, from Umar, and from Samir, we're the Farooqi Bros, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.